Hey, welcome. I am going to tie a balanced leech. This is one of these little critters. And here's another one. The point is, that's probably not in focus. The point is, these are apparently the hottest, latest thing to fish at Pyramid Lake, and I'll bet you they work all over the place. We're going to show you how to do it. So thank you for joining me. Let's get started. Hey, welcome. This is kind of what we're going to tie, except we're going to use a cone head with a glass bead. This is another, what are they called? A balanced leech. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to put it in the vise here. This is one of the pins. I got this pin at my local craft store. It's got a flat head on it. I don't know if this is silver or stainless, but they're pretty cheap. Not very long. And this is one that I have trimmed about 1/4 of an inch off of it. And I've got a I think it's a 4.8 millimeter cone on the end, a red metallic cone, and then an orange glass bead right up behind it. So this is what we're going to use on our balanced. Actually, this, depending on your preferences, you might call this a balanced minnow. Where's my thread go? So I'm going to make a, there are obviously as many colors of these flies as you can imagine, but I think if you have a, where'd it go? If you have like a whitish and an olivish and a blackish, you're going to be in pretty good shape. So this is going to be the cream colored one. And there's nothing magic about having this red cone head. I could be using a bead. And you could, you don't want to, I've experimented a little bit, and this seems to be about the proper distance to have my pin ahead of where my leader will attach. This seems to balance the fly about perfectly. So this isn't pure white marabou. This is kind of a cream color. That's a nice length right there, and I'm gonna trim this so I'll have a nice base for my fly. And I'm gonna put a little bit of dubbing while I'm here, right up at the front on the pin. And of course, when you have a fly like this and you're tying so far forward, it's like tying on an extra long shank. You want to be cautious about how much pressure you put on this as you're tying. Now, what about some flash? This is kind of a pink midge flash. I like it really well, and my goal here is to get 2 strands on each side. I'll be happy if I get 1. There we go. 2 pieces there. Just takes a couple of turns of thread to lock it down. And then switch it over to the other side and trim it. There we go. Now, I'm using a Whitlock SLF dubbing. It comes in a little, this is dubbing box number 2. I don't know if you can see it. Got some pretty cool colors in there. And I'm going to blend those 2 cream colors. Now you could use a dubbing that has mohair in it. You could use any darn dubbing you want. You could palmer a really narrow saddle hackle on this. You could do many things. But I've been I've been really liking the amount of texture and sparkle that I get with this SLF dubbing. And of course, when you're able to, so if let's say I went old school. Where's my dubbing hook? There it is. Let's say I went old school and put on a chenille body and palmered and a piece of copper wire and palmered a hackle. That'd make a great fly, but it's extra steps. And to be able to spin some dubbing in a loop and have it come out just right is kind of a nice time saver. Now I'm gonna tease this just a little bit now, not too much. Not too much. And you saw me put down a little bit of cement. And that just makes sure that everything stays all nice and secure. Now, to adjust my taper, if I wind it right, wind against wind tightly, the body will be denser. If I need to, I just spread it out, and that keeps it from getting too thick at any one point. Now, right at the front here, I'd like it to be a little bit thicker. So there we go. And I go around that thread several times. It's all locked in. And I'll go over it a couple times, but you really don't need to twice because it's already locked in. Now, again, you could use a gold bead, a silver bead, a brass bead. Brass is gold. You could use hot pink, chartreuse, hot orange, all kinds of options. Your imagination is the only limitation. Now watch what I'm gonna do here. I'm sure you got this figured out already. And depending on your personal taste in flies, I think this has just the right amount of fuzz and sparkle. If you want more fuzz, you could use an Angora. You could add some Angora to it. So here you have it. This is how it will ride in the water with the hook right here, and this is a cone and a glass bead and your pin, and I'm really enthused with this little fly. I hope you have fun tying these things, bigger, smaller, and different colors, and have a chance to get out there and fish. Thank you.